Progressives, they love ID for some things, but not for others. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.Media. There's a court case in Canada right now saying that we've got to get rid of the Fair Elections Act. Why? Voter ID restrictions, making people prove that they're actually eligible to vote. Who do these people think they are? That's a horrible idea. You shouldn't have to show ID. It's a charter violation, for goodness sakes. Yeah, I really worry that the courts are going to rule that way. We just saw a ruling in the United States last week essentially saying the same thing, that voter ID restrictions are too onerous. You can't possibly demand that someone prove they have the right to vote. Except progressives do actually love ID laws on some things, like smoking. I want you to take a look at this webpage. This is from the Government of Ontario and their Smoke-Free Ontario Act. They have very strict placements on what you have to show in terms of ID. And I want to read to you from some of this because this is the same political philosophy that says you can't possibly show ID to vote. They say, before purchasing tobacco products, the customer must prove that she is at least 19 years old. Ask for ID from everyone who looks under 25. That's ageism, my friends. Familiarize yourself with acceptable ID, and we'll get to what that is for a minute. Follow the 3 easy steps for checking ID. Recognize fake ID. If in doubt, do not sell. But when it comes to voting, they don't want voter ID, and they want it to be, if in doubt, let them vote. Don't you think that could lead to voter fraud? Don't you think that could lead to people trying to stuff ballot boxes, voting 2-3 times, voting when you're not eligible, say because you're not a citizen? We should be trying to make sure that if you vote, you have the right to vote. But progressives don't want that. They say asking for a driver's license is too much. Well, here's the list of acceptable ID to buy tobacco in Ontario. Driver's license issued by the province of Ontario. Canadian passport. Canadian citizenship card. Canadian Armed Forces card. Photo ID issued by the LCBO. In addition, ID that includes a photograph of the person, date of birth, and appears to have been issued by a government is acceptable. And yet, these same people are now saying, you know what? There's not enough people with driver's licenses. You can't do that, and you can't have these other restrictions on it. It's the same argument we've been hearing in the United States for years. In the 2012 presidential election, the Democrats kept going to court to have voter ID laws shut out. Why? Because they like cheating. That's why. They want people to stuff the ballot boxes. They want illegal immigrants voting. They want people that don't have the right to vote to be able to cast a ballot because they know they're going to vote for the Democrats. And I fear it's the same thing here with the progressives. But here's the funny part. The Americans voted for Barack Obama on November 6, 2012. November 8, 2012, I was driving through the United States, and you know what I saw? Again, tobacco restrictions in state after state where I had heard that you couldn't possibly have voter ID laws because, well, the black population would be disproportionately affected. You know what I saw? I saw black store clerks asking black customers for photo ID in order to buy cigarettes. This is a farce. It's a farce invented by the left to try and ensure that they have an advantage, a cheating advantage. The courts should uphold the Fair Elections Act. They should actually demand that more be done, like proving you're a citizen instead of just having a photo ID like a driver's license. It doesn't actually prove citizenship. There should be more done, not less. Unfortunately, I doubt our progressive courts are going to rule that way. And we'll see what happens come October. But the fact is, if you don't have the right to vote, you shouldn't be casting a ballot. That's something we should all agree on. Unless, of course, your goal is cheating.